Instagram takes a minute to go live. So,
Alrighty.
alrighty. Come on, you can do it. All right, cool. All right, so excellent. So we're live. So, hey guys. Oh, that's interesting. So it looks like we're having problems live streaming on Facebook. I have no idea why. That's okay. We're gonna keep going because we're still on LinkedIn, we're still on YouTube, we're still on Twitter.
Sure.
We're on Instagram, and we will be on TikTok. So it's all good.
Good.
So
Yeah.
anybody watching, welcome to An Author's View, and I am here with Tony Martello. He is the author of The Rain Drum, which will be coming out it's available for pre-order now. It comes out a little bit later this week or this month. Sorry, it's one of those days. This year. A link to get the pre-order is actually in the little scrolly thing. So you guys, if you're interested, you can check it out there. And Tony actually was just pretty cool. He grew up surfing the wild waves of Hawaii and California and developed his creative writing skills to help cope with chronic pain of chronic arthritis. His most popular collection of short stories is Flat Spell Tales. It reached the top 100 sellers list for audiobooks in the short fiction category. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. He actually works as a family therapist by day and writes fiction at night. And he currently lives in San Luis Obispo. Did I say that right?
That's it. Slow town. SLO, slow.
Cool. With his wife and daughters. So I have to ask, what inspired you to write The Rain Drum?
Yes. I was just sitting in the sun thinking about this, reflecting on where I started. And it's probably 2019, 2020, right before the shutdown, the COVID shutdown. And it started with a conversation with my wife. We were hiking up in the Santa Cruz Mountains because I used to live up in the Silicon Valley before I moved here to the Central Coast. And we were talking about how much we liked Moana, the movie Moana, because we have a 9-year-old who was probably 5 or 6 at the time.
Okay.
And it was an awesome story. We thought we were inspired by it. And I thought, it's been a while since I've seen like a male protagonist. And I'm like, why don't I try? I actually gave myself a prompt. My wife and I were talking about what would be cool. Because she knows I write. She's a supporter. And I thought, how about a male character with a multicultural background of some culture that I hadn't thought about yet at that time, because I started working with multicultural clients up in San Jose. And so it all started coming together. I thought, I like the jungle. We had recently done a DNA test. And I found out I had 1% to 3% Indian blood in DNA. And I was like,
you're like, holy crap.
Yeah, I got to get to know more about this. So I started dreaming up the Sri Lankan jungle, a character, a boy who struggled with a medical issue, kind of like I had as a kid. I had chronic arthritis, and I found a way to deal with it. So fast forward, about 6 months to a year. I remember it was Christmas time. It was like Christmas break. I told myself, I'm going to give myself 2 weeks to write this and put pressure on myself, because I rarely did that before. With Flat Spell Tales, I didn't really put pressure on myself. This one, I'm going to do a long short story. I'm going to go 2 weeks. I'm going to work on it 2 to 3 hours a day with this male character that tries to find his identity in the forest because he's struggling with overprotective parents. And he actually finds more than that, a whole cast of friends, fun and wild and action adventure friends that he in the jungle. And so finish that. And then I sent it out to a few, put it on submittable. And I tried to submit it to like cover what is it called? Coverfly or something like that. It's like a
Okay.
movie kind of a thing. And I didn't hear it back, but then you guys came along and picked it up, and I thought, awesome, I got it. This sounds like a good opportunity. And
Oh,
I liked your press. So and I've been watching your Ask Us Anything Run Wild with us. And I like how you guys are so involved and open and direct about supporting your authors. So that's how I ended up here.
oh, wow. Well, thank you and welcome, obviously.
Yeah,
uh,
thanks.
yeah, I mean, Ben absolutely loved your story. I mean, otherwise, clearly you wouldn't be here. So, and Ben, how fantastic is it to work with Ben? I mean,
Oh, he's awesome. Excuse me. Yeah, he's just great. He's great. He tells it like it is, direct. And just listening to you guys in the Run Wild with us, the questions that come up and that you
mhm,
answer about realities versus myth in publishing, I learned quite a bit. So I listened to about 5 to 10 of them in the
mhm,
last year, probably year and a half.
mhm,
So I got to know Ben a little bit through listening to him and you, of course. So
mhm.
yeah.
Oh, very cool. So in terms of your writing in general, like what really inspires you to write? And do you find it um like who are your biggest supporters? Like where do you find that because anyone who's watching who's in has some kind of creative either outlet or it may be your primary job, right? Um, you really, at least I feel, can't be successful without having that backing of those supporters. So, one, what's your inspiration, and two, who are your supporters, and how do you find they support you?
Yeah. For sure. Number one, my wife, as I mentioned with the conversation we had talking about movies, books, stories, talking about our kids, what
Mm,
inspires our children. My mother, my father, my daughters. I have a 20-year-old who's an English major here at Cal Poly, where I live, right in this town.
mhm,
She's one of my helpers. She's edited a couple of my short stories that have been published in journals. And
mhm,
so really my family and I think I get a lot of inspiration from my job as well because I use narrative therapy with children and adults who are stuck. They may have chronic anxiety, they may have depression.
mm,
Just to get them unstuck, I realized that using creativity is really what opens the floodgates to healing. And
mm,
I did some research in graduate school at Pepperdine on creativity and a little bit of spirituality and found that it really opens the door to people healing that have had identity issues, chronic anxiety, PTSD.
mm,
And so I thought kind of incorporating this story into, a 5 to 7 or 8 year old protagonistic character, like, why don't I present like an identity issue and how he can find his identity? And so that's how I kind of am inspired. So my family, using creativity in the therapeutic sense as well as an entertaining sense, you
mhm,
can't go wrong if you can combine those.
mm. Wow, that's awesome. I've got to ask. So, what did you want to be when you grew up, and what got you into being a family therapist?
Yeah, really good question. Originally a doctor. I wanted to be a medical doctor. And before this, I worked in medical device sales. I didn't go all the way to med school partly because of the chronic pain I had. I had a hard time standing on my hips for more than a half an hour to an hour at a time. And so when I
Mm,
graduated from Cal Poly undergrad, I thought, what the heck can I do in the medical field where I don't have to be on my feet? Because, doctors doing their rotations have to be on their feet 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day.
oh yeah. Mm,
So I found a job promoting medical devices, and I got to be involved with the healthcare field, promoting positive products and devices for doctors, and felt like it was an important role. But after working in corporate America for 20 years, you kind of want to do something different. And I thought, hey, I can go work with patients and clients directly. And so I went back to school to get my master's in marriage and family therapy. And it's the same kind of feeling now. I feel very rewarded, privileged to be able to do this. It's very rewarding.
Mm,
And it fulfills something inside of me that medical device sales wouldn't fulfill, that direct patient help,
mm.
facilitating healing, all that. It's a very satisfying feeling.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. And how have you learned to manage, like, so I actually also I have, or well, I don't have chronic arthritis, but I have arthritis in my hip and my knee. And for me, like, this may sound odd to a lot of people, but like I work out every day because that, like, combination of core and more like yoga, stretching, and so forth, I find actually helps me manage it to the point where, I can't really run anymore, but I can like walk, and I can jog every once in a while. But what did you find to manage that chronic pain?
Yeah, great question. And it just like you probably get maybe 20-30% relief, pain relief from these exercises. Well, so did I with surfing. So cold
Mm,
ocean water was great, body surfing, swimming in a pool. I swim literally almost every morning.
mm,
And so I found that there has to be something, rather than just give up and go, I'm just going to take pills and I'm just going to stop moving. There has to be a replacement therapy we could do, like you do with yoga and
mm,
working out. So swimming, surfing, and then the creative story sort of tied into all this, poetry too.
mm,
Ben, I know Ben's a big poet, and um, I think I've read one or two of his poems quite a while ago, but I'd like to read more. But anyways, poetry,
mm.
X swimming, and a lot of social activities, working with others really seems to be the formula for me that keeps the pain down.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Uh,
So,
so And the big question, which I'm sure everyone's waiting to hear, what are you working on now? And do you have anything in the pipeline that you're really excited about and you really want to share?
well, yeah, I love short stories, to see this story, to me, this is like my little baby novel. It's almost like, oh, it's a long short story. So to me, that's a big accomplishment because most of my short stories are like 4 to 5 pages. They're like flash fiction.
Hmm.
This was, I know, on the border of a novella and a short story. And I know you guys recommended putting it in the short story category because of a few page difference,
Yeah.
number difference. So to me, this is almost like my baby book. So it's a big accomplishment. But I have an essay, a creative nonfiction essay that's circulating the journals, and I'm getting feedback right now. It's on what's the topic? Well, sort of unveiling the principles of addiction and inflation, economic inflation, as well as
Hmm.
alcoholism, and the connections between our habitual behaviors and our culture with the economic system and how messed up it is. So I
Hmm.
I wrote a creative essay on that, and it's a little bit of a longer essay. I'm getting some good feedback. Hasn't been accepted yet,
Hmm.
and I think that's my next publication that I'm trying to do. So,
That actually sounds really fascinating. Like I really hope it gets published soon because I there are so many connections to like our behaviors and what we lean into and the results of our society and those things that are prompted within our society for us to like glom onto that I don't think we realize really impact us. Like even something as simple as like continuously eating junk food versus us, you could spend the same money on healthier food that's just as tasty and fantastic, it's just not advertised as much.
yeah,
So
yeah,
but like, and that's everywhere, that's with alcohol, that's honestly, all you gotta do is turn on the television and look at what's being prompted and promoted, not just within the advertising but within the shows themselves, and you're not realizing it's impacting you. And then if you look at that and our general cultural behaviors and those chronic issues that we have as in the American culture, and how that impacts us from a wider perspective. I mean, that
Oh
essay, I can't wait to see it. That's
yeah,
gonna.
I'll definitely forward it your way. I just got feedback from places like Forge Literary, what is it, Forge Valley Literary. They said we like this a lot, but it's not our beat. It's
Thing.
not our topic. And like a couple other, notable journals. So I feel like it's going to land somewhere good.
Mhm.
I don't, um, like I know that some of these take, I mean, a year or two. Like just the rain drum from when I wrote it till now is 5 years, 4.5, 5 years. So
Oh my gosh.
a lot of patience, right? I'm learning that the good stuff, it takes time to get through the system and published.
Oh yeah. I mean, for to your point, like I think Ben started working on the Rise short story anthology, like this specific one 3 years ago, something like that.
Mhm.
And just among the editing and then going through the production process, so like getting the cover and everything pulled together and all that, and then it's about 9 months to a year to get it to for a distributor to actually like get it out to market. So right there, I just described easily 2.5, 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so people just are like, they have no idea that it, yeah, and that's fast. I mean,
To me, it's yeah, I'm learning. It's a new thing. I'm trying to emerge here, and I'm realizing that you guys do it right, and you guys are open and direct about it, and that's why I feel comfortable with having my story with you,
mm, well, thank
and yeah, it just seems like it was done like with a lot of care and a lot of patience, and so the marketing is being supported, the channels, so I'm comfortable with it, and yeah, to your point, it's I'm learning about what it really takes to get good stories and books published because I self-published Flatspill Tales and they're awesome stories, but
you.
I know there's a lot of help I could have had with editing that I had to do my own editing. And so I was like bleeding out of my eyes when I did my own editing.
Oh my gosh, it's so hard. And I have like I even with works that I have that have an editor, I have friends who really enjoy my writing, so I'll send it to them, right? Just and they'll send me screenshots. Look what you screwed up, right? And I'm like, God damn it. How did I miss that? Like simple things,
Oh,
like there's a space between the period and the last word. It's like, where did that come from?
I know. Our brains just can't my brain can't handle the ultra small detail to that kind of stuff.
Mm-mm.
So that's why I appreciate, well, you guys as professional press, my daughter who is an undergrad English major who helps me edit pieces that I do because she's
There you
sharp like that.
go. Mm.
But anyway, yeah, I totally get it, and I'm learning, that it's fun to self-publish, but hey, I didn't want to wait 10 years, honestly, so I just did it myself. What the hell? I'm going to have a few errors. I'm just going to
Yeah.
push it through.
Yeah.
But this story, I'm glad that I took the time to have it nurtured. So it's a good feeling.
Well, welcome. We really value you and value the rain drum and cannot wait to get it out to market. So,
Awesome. Thank you. I
well,
really appreciate it.
all right. And with that, I'm going to let you go, guys. Don't forget that anytime you're watching any of our live streams, if you're looking at the recording, it's all good. Go ahead and pop any questions you have in the chat because I'll follow up with Tony and we'll get you the answers that you're looking for. Cool?
For sure.
Cool.
Sounds good. Thanks. Thanks, Lisa.
Awesome. Thank you.